This is Your Anxiety Toolkit, episode number 82. Welcome to Your Anxiety Toolkit. I'm your host, Kimberly Quinlan. This podcast is fueled by three main goals. The first goal is to provide you with some extra tools to help you manage your anxiety. Second goal, to inspire you. Anxiety doesn't get to decide how you live your life. And number three, and I leave the best for last, is to provide you with one big, fat virtual hug. Because experiencing anxiety ain't easy. If that sounds good to you, let's go. Well, welcome back and happy new year to you. Welcome 2019. Oh my goodness, that is crazy. I cannot believe that 2018 just came and went. And believe it or not, CBT school is approaching very, very soon their first birthday. So I am super excited. That's why I think that 2018 just went so fast. And I cannot tell you, it was just such a joy, such an honor, such a pleasure to have spent that whole year, really fine-tuning the work that I want to do and the direction that we all want to go to, which is to learn how to really stare fear in the face and to learn that we are stronger than we think and to do the hard thing. So here we are on the very first week of 2019, or maybe you're listening to this and it's way past that date, but whoever, if you're out there, this podcast episode is really directed towards inspiring you, and it's kind of like a little bit of a pep talk. But what I want to do today, I was sitting and reflecting on what I wanted to do because for us here, it's, winter and, we always look at New Year as if it's a new beginning. But I really want to instill in you a piece of hope in that you can start this process at any time. It doesn't have to be January 1st where you start making goals for yourself. It doesn't have to be a special occasion or when you're planning for an event. You can start this any day. And today's podcast is, in effort to really address that, is going to be the 4 powerful statements that you're going to need, right? Whether that be in 2019, 2020, June, July, September, whatever. But these are the 4 powerful statements you are going to need. Okay, so let's just get started, shall we? Okay, number 1. The number 1 most powerful statement that I think you're going to need for 2019 or for whenever it is this: there is nothing wrong with you. So when you say it to yourself, I want you to say it out loud. Do it with me. There is nothing wrong with me. Okay, one more time. There is nothing wrong with me. And I know that you just came up in that short amount of time. What was it? Maybe 20 seconds. I know your brain came up with maybe several or maybe more reasons that can't be true, right? And powerful statements that are saying, no, that's actually not true. There is lots wrong with me. But let me share with you what I believe strongly, which is the problem with this statement is expectations. When we compare ourselves to others, and often we're comparing ourselves to the front stage of other people, not their backstage, but their front stage, their Instagram posts or their Facebook feed or the happy face that they show when you see them. You compare yourself to their front stage and not their backstage, right? And as soon as we do that, it leads to self-judgment. And the statement in and of itself that there is something wrong with me is a judgment. And we know that mindfulness is all about non-judgment, right? So number 1, you've got to stop comparing. But I know you've heard me say that before. But this is where I'm going to keep pushing forward and say, the truth is here, there is nothing wrong with you. Even if you've got extreme anxiety or you're struggling with a mental disorder right now, There's nothing wrong, quote unquote, wrong with you. There's nothing bad about you, right? Because the truth is these emotions and sensations and thoughts are actually quite normal. We all have them. They mightn't present. I know they might not present the same way as other people, but they too have their own stuff, right? There's nothing wrong with what's happening to you. And if you insist that there is, I want to check the definition of what right is, because right to me doesn't seem like it's very realistic, right? This is where I want to really dive in and look at there is nothing wrong with your thoughts. Okay, so let's say you have obsessive compulsive disorder and you're like, nope, my thoughts are bad. My thoughts are weird. My thoughts are scary or crazy. No, there is no thought that is bad. There is no thought that is wrong. Thoughts are thoughts. You're going to have some. You're going to have some good ones. You're going to have some really weird ones. You're going to have some really scary ones. Whether you have a diagnosis or a disorder or not, that is true. So there's nothing wrong with your thoughts. Now, let's say you have depression and you probably have some inaccurate thoughts, irrational thoughts, right? Well, yes, we could argue that there's something wrong with them, but I'm going to push back on that and say, no, everybody has distorted, irrational thoughts. Everybody has thoughts that are negative sometimes or thoughts that sabotage ourselves. That's true for everybody. The same goes if you've got an eating disorder or you've got any kind of disorder. We all have thoughts, good, the bad, the not good, the good, scary, whatever they might be. But there is nothing innately wrong with you because of the thoughts that you have. This is where we have to really practice not wronging or badding on ourselves. It's the same with our bodies. There is nothing wrong with your body. If you want to argue with me on that, I'm going to have a conversation with you about what your expectations are about the human body. And maybe that's where we would start, because expectations here seem to be the problem. You know, it's the beginning of the year, so everybody's like going on a diet and going on this fast. And I just call BS on all that because that's all wrong, in my opinion. There's nothing wrong with your body, right? There's nothing wrong with your feelings. If you have big, strong feelings, there's nothing wrong with that. If you have big reactions, there's nothing wrong with that either, right? The main point here is you are not separate from all the other humans. We're all walking around, you know, having little meltdowns here and there. Some of us have big ones. That's fine too, right? But these are universal. The thoughts, the sensations, the emotions, the urges, it's all universal, right? Which moves me directly into number 2, because I'm sure you've got some pretty strong feelings about this already, right? Number 2, the powerful statement I want you to adopt is this: I accept this situation, right? Now you can switch that out depending on your situation with I accept this thought, I accept this feeling, I accept this emotion, this urge, you got it, this life, right? But I want you to move into a place where you phrase and hold dear to your heart, I radically accept this current situation, right? So let's say you have an emotion or a feeling, right? So let's say the emotion is sadness and it's related to depression, or it's fear related to an anxiety disorder, or it's the feeling of being fat. Let's say if you had body dysmorphia or an eating disorder, right? Or you had the feeling or experience of disgust, where maybe you have OCD around disgust, or you have an eating disorder around disgust. Maybe you have the feeling of uncertainty, right? Or the sensations of uncertainty, right? we want to pull apart each one of those because, again, none of those experiences are wrong. And we want to directly and radically accept each and every one of them because there is nothing wrong with them. Each and every one of them serve a purpose. We have to take note of them. And that's the important piece, right? Let's say, again, you're having some intrusive thoughts, some scary, horrific, scary thoughts. They're repetitive. You don't want them. You don't know why they keep coming. They're alarming to you. They don't line up with your values and your morals. Okay? None of that matters. I accept this thought. I accept that it's here right now. I'm going to allow it to be here, right? Maybe you have a sensation that's really uncomfortable. Maybe it's physical pain, right? Maybe you have chronic physical pain. Maybe you have a sensation of panic rising in your body. Maybe you have a sensation or an urge where you want to pull your hair or pick your skin or you bite your nails, right? These are very common body-focused repetitive behaviors that we have, great treatment tools for, right? Maybe this sensation is physical anxiety or irritability, right? And when you can identify each and every one of those, you will honor each one and you will say, I accept you. I accept irritability is in my experience right now. I accept that anxiety is here right now, right? And here's the really big one and the one I know you're going to hate me for, but don't stop listening at this point. I accept that I have limited control over this life. I accept that I have to be uncertain about many things, right? I know you hate that. I hate that. You're not alone. But when we accept it, things start to change, right? Okay, so this brings me to my next powerful statement. Okay, so number one, there's nothing wrong with me. Number two, I accept this situation. Number three, and this is where we really address number one and maybe some of those arguments that you have regarding number one, which is I am making the decisions from now on. Not fear, not depression, not my eating disorder, not OCD, not my body-focused repetitive behavior. I'm going to make the decisions, not my emotions, but me. I am choosing from now on how I respond to each and every one of these experiences that I have, whether they're thoughts, feelings, sensations, urges, right? Fear, I'm sorry, fear doesn't get to make my decisions anymore, right? The best way we can learn of our own strength is when we stare fear in the face, right? That's where it's at. People say, oh my gosh, I feel so weak. I feel so out of control. And I keep telling everybody, the more you try to control things, the more out of control and weak you'll feel, right? And again, there's nothing wrong with feeling weak. Again, I don't want that to sound like it's a wrong thing. There's nothing wrong with it. But how we respond to these emotions and sensations, the fear in our body, is what sets us free, right? That's the part that is in our control. We can't control our feelings. We can't control our thoughts. We can't control our sensations. I cannot control my kids or my husband or the people on the street or the person at the checkout, or I can't control anybody. Ultimately, I can't control my future. I have to accept that. But I can decide how I respond to that by making decisions based on who I am, not fear. Does that make sense? Okay. So number one, there is nothing wrong with me. Number two, I radically accept this situation. Number three, I am making the decisions from now on. And this brings us to number four, and you guys knew it was coming. It's a beautiful day to do hard things. For those of you who are new to the podcast, welcome. You will hear me say this over and over again. It is a beautiful day to do the hard thing, right? It's the way we release ourselves from anxiety, right? When we stare fear in the face and when we live the life we want, that's how we have a full life, right? Now, what I want you to do is I want you to sort of ask yourself, what would I do if fear wasn't here, or this sensation or thought or whatever it might be? How would I live my life? And then I want you to go and live that life. But the thing here is you have to invite your fear or your thought or your sensation and your urge along with you, because that is life. That's where we go back to that first point and we remind ourselves that maybe the expectations on us as a human being was too high. We've got it all wrong. Never were we supposed to not have anxiety or not have sensations or not have thoughts. That's always been a part of being a human. I don't know why we as a human race think that we could somehow rid ourselves of that. It's just the way we are, right? It's a part of our genetics, right? So we want to stare our fear in the face. We want to live our life and do the things that we would have done had we not had this uncomfortable sensation or thought, right? Bring the fear with you, right? Which brings me to the segment that I've loved doing and I'm going to keep doing, which is the I Did a Hard Thing segment. And this is where the members of the Facebook group CBT School Campus, it's a private Facebook group, but you can ask to join. It's free. It's just a support group. Everyone there is lovely and so brave. And when I do a podcast, I post, tell me your hard thing. What are you up to? Tell me the scary things you're doing. And today we have a message from Jessie who said, I went to New Jersey, which is like an hour away, with myself and my family, and we stayed overnight at an aunt's house and we did Christmas there. And only 2 months ago, I would never be able to do this. It would not be possible. I've also been accepting and inviting my anxiety and thoughts, and I just love this. So good job, Jessie. That is so cool. You're walking the walk. I love it, right? If you want to be on a podcast episode in the future, please join the group. And when I post, please don't hesitate to put your hard thing in there, because you'll be really inspired by some of the messages that the group has written. Okay. But another way I wanted to mention here, because P.S. I'm like super, super excited, is when it comes to CBT school, this community, we are going to do hard things this year. Yes, we are. I am pumped. It is going to be a huge year for us. We have some amazing, amazing people coming onto the podcast who are going to really teach us about how to do hard things. The exciting news I know I mentioned last week in the episode is that ERP School, the online course for OCD, will be coming back in late January. So if you're interested, go to cbtschool.com. The link is in the show notes, and sign up to be on the wait list. It will be amazing and will be released late January. I haven't got the exact dates just yet, but hang tight. And as soon as it's available, I'll let you know on Instagram, Facebook at CBT School, on the podcast. You'll find it wherever you find information about me. So ERP School is coming back. I'm also super excited because BFRB School, which is the course for body-focused repetitive behaviors, that is coming back. It's a huge, fully packed course that teaches you a particular type of CBT, which is habit reversal training. That's the gold standard science-based treatment for hair pulling and skin picking and nail biting. So that will be there too. You can find out about that on cbtschool.com as well. The link is in the show notes as well. But this year, we're also going to be releasing Social Anxiety School. So this will be an online course for those of you who have social anxiety. And the other course, which I'm so excited to do, is Depression for OCD. And this course will be about managing secondary depression If you have intrusive thoughts or compulsive behaviors, I am really, really excited about getting that one out. Okay. And in addition to that, I'm going to do some really cool Facebook group challenges in CBT School campus. So tons of ways you can do hard things, but you don't have to do any of those. You can start today. You can start today by using some of these or all of these powerful statements, right? Number one, there is nothing wrong with you. I want you to really hear me say this. There is nothing wrong with me. Number two, I accept this situation. Number three, I am making the decisions around here from now on. And number four, and I leave the best for last, it's a beautiful day to do hard things. So I cannot tell you how proud I am to be a part of this journey with you. I cannot tell you how honored I am to stand by you as you do the hard thing. I cannot tell you. It brings me to tears. So I just want you guys to know that I am just so excited and so ready for this year. You guys have everything you need inside you. The strength is there already. So I really want to really inspire you and to encourage you to do the hard thing, no matter what size, small, medium, large, it doesn't matter. Just do your best. And I will be seeing you, P.S., for some freaking amazing interviews in the next couple of months. And I'll see you next week. Please note that this podcast or any other resources from cbtschool.com should not replace professional mental health care. If you feel you would benefit, please reach out to a provider in your area. Have a wonderful day, and thank you for supporting cbtschool.com.